Hello everyone, welcome to another time with the enthusiastic tutor, and in today's tutorial we will be talking about the fundamental principles of economics. The subtopics under the fundamental principle of economics we'll be treating will be choice, rationale, opportunity cost, and decision making. Sit back, relax, get your pen, get your jotters, as you will be needing these stuff as we go on in the tutorial. So we have our first slide, we have the introduction. So in this tutorial, we will examine how the decision process of individuals, groups, organizations, firms, companies, and government institutions is being influenced by the effect of the economy, how this process affects the sharing, distribution, and allocation of scarce resources. These are the things we'll be learning in the course of this tutorial. Just like I usually say, or I used to say in my previous tutorials, don't just watch these videos as if you are watching an episode of a movie, an episode of your favorite series. It's just one of your series or your favorite movie. It's actually a tutorial video. So you have to get your pen, get your and you make note as we comment in the course of this tutorial. With this being said, let's hop right into it. So we have the next slide, which is the intended learning outcome. The intended learning outcome of this tutorial is being categorized into three places. One, influence on decision making by available choices, opportunity forgone, and the act of being rational. We're going to be talking about how available choices influence our decision making process. Why do we make decision? How do we make the decision? Can this decision be influenced by our available choices? All these things will be discussed in this tutorial. What we call opportunity forgone, opportunity cost, all this will also be discussed in this tutorial. The act of being rational, is it inhumane? Is it inhumane to be rational? You know, a lot of person says economists are stingy people, but we'll know better in the course of this tutorial if they are actually stingy people or if they are only being rational. With this being said, let's move to the next slide. So we have overview of principle of economics. Now, the two major divisions of the subject and discipline of economics are tailored to individuals and society. Now, to explain this, economics is being divided into two divisions, and these divisions has been tailored down to individuals, you and me, and the society. Who makes up the society? Individuals that occupies the particular space and territory, and that is what makes up the society. Now, microeconomics is the study of people, their economic choices, and how those decisions interact. Now, having people commune, communicate, interact in a society, how they communicate, how they interact, their mode of communication, their mode of decision making is called microeconomics. Now, individuals and societies are the two major divisions of the subject of the discipline of economics. Individuals is what makes up the society, and it is the interaction between these individuals, the buying and selling, exchange of value, exchange of services in this society is what determines the activity of the economy. Now we have microeconomics is the study of people, their economic choices, and how those decisions interact. Let's not forget that economic choices that each and every one of us takes requires the act of making decisions.
You don't take a choice when you have not made up your mind on your decisions. So now, microeconomics is a study of people, their economic choices, and how these economic choices interact. Let's not forget we talked about individual and society making up the activities of the economic at large. So basically, talking about microeconomics is talking about how this interaction between individuals in the society affects or influences the economy locally. So this is referred to as microeconomy. The study of individual, household, and company choices in particular marketplace could also be referred to as microeconomics. And let's take that again. The study of individual, household, and company choices in particular marketplaces could be referred to as microeconomics. Now, as we have said earlier on, individuals is what makes up an household. A company is what is made up by different sects, levels, and all these levels and sects are made up of individuals. And all this combination of individuals working together in a structured environment, which we refer to as a firm, organization, and in the case of household, all these decisions and activities, all these are taking place in a marketplace. And this marketplace, the activity taking place in this marketplace, the study of that activity now is what is called micro, from the word small. Micro is from the word small. Anything small is micro, like micro SIM card, like microchip. Small, like the study of a small activity of interaction, small activity of negotiation within individuals in a given territory. Anything micro is small. Let's not forget that while scarcity in microeconomics is not the same as poverty. Let's underline that there's a difference between scarcity and poverty. Scarcity is that it is available, but it is not so much in circulation, but you can still see a trace of it in circulation. And we also have poverty. Poverty is lack, when it's not available at all. So we have microeconomics study how an economic function generally, including factors like inflation, that is a consistent rise in the flow of money, employment, unemployment, and fundamental economic growth. Let's say that again. Microeconomics studies how an economic function generally, including factors like inflation, unemployment, and fundamental economic growth. Fundamental economic growth in the sense that the basic strength of an economy. Now, that is basic strength of a growing economy. Now, economy. So we have that the upward and downward trend in the broader economy are more of a focus of microeconomic. These two fields I beg your pardon, shares a few important basic tenets. Now, we've spoken about microeconomic and we are now speaking about macro. Now, macro deals with the study of economic on a broader level, the study of the study of an economy on a larger or a broader level. Now, microeconomic has to do with decisions and interactions individuals and companies take, and to have that the influences that it has on the economic at large. But when we talk about macroeconomic has to do with now the country at large, the economic of the country at large, decisions of the economic of the country at large, speaks about interaction between a particular country with the other country, like economic activity with Nigeria and US. That is the level of macroeconomic. It has to be with macro, something large, a larger base on a broader base. So we have that as that. Let's move to the next slide. We have choice. Choice. We typically encounter one or more goals in our daily lives that call for decision making. Very true. For you to wake up and get up, stand up from the bed which you are lying, and dress up and heading to work, it's a decision you've taken. If you are chosen not to get up from the bed, which you are lying, and you refuse to go to work, it's still a decision. So every day of our life, we are encountered with making a decision at one phase or the other. Every option entails trade-off. Now, what is trade-off? Trade-off can be referred to as opportunity that you forego. Let it slide. That's another word for trade-off. So having more of one benefit entails having less of another. And trade-off is done for the sake of getting the benefit of something and letting go of another. Now, let me explain something to you. Let's take an example of the fact that you made the decision of getting up from bed. You need to be at work by 10. You get up from bed and you get your bath, you do your prayers, you get your bath, and you left for work. Now, you trade off the decision of lying still. You trade off the decision of not going to work because you feel going to work is better off not going to work. And in the case of another person who feels that lying on the bed, maybe putting a call through to the manager or a supervisor and telling lies that he or she is not coming to work, he or she is not feeling fine, the person has also given a trade-off of the fact that they have to go to work. So now the person chose not to go to work, lying on the bed, as against going to work. So the trade-off is lying not to go to work. Now, it says, as a result, there is typically a compromise between two things. Let's not forget, I use an example of a compromise between going to work and not going to work. But subsequently, we'll get a better understanding of this explanation. This holds true not just for people, but also for families, businesses, the government, and the entire community. Consider the situation where Ade has $20 and he must decide between purchasing an ice cream or a chocolate treat. He must choose between buying chocolate candies and getting ice cream. This is a very good example of choice. Let's not forget the fact that we need to make decisions. We have to do a trade-off. Definitely, that is certain. For you to make a choice, you have to make decisions. You have to take decision, and in that your decision, you have to do a trade-off. Because let's not forget that human needs, are insatiable. Yes, our wants, our needs, they are insatiable. We want a lot of things. We keep requesting and requesting. Our wants are insatiable. So for you to choose an item over another item or a want over another want, that means you have to let go of something you feel is less important at the moment. Back to our example, let's move to the next slide. So we have the next slide. We have other variables might have an impact on his choice, and they might favor ice cream over water if it is a hot day and he is thirsty. For instance, his decision might be influenced by some other factors. For example, if it is a sunny day and Ade is thirsty, he might prefer ice cream to chocolate candy. Now, two examples have been given just now. Ade would prefer to take water instead if it's a very hot day and he's thirsty. Ice cream is good and water is good. Even though Ade is craving for ice cream, he might just have to go for water if it's a very sunny day and he's thirsty. So he wants both items. He wants water and as well he wants the ice cream. But he had to do a trade-off of ice cream. He had to let go of ice cream to get water. Now he had the choice of taking both, but he took the decision of taking water and a trade-off of ice cream because it's actually a sunny day. So the environment the weather has actually influenced his decision and went for the choice of water. Now, for example, again, if it is a sunny day and if it's thirsty, he might prefer ice cream to chocolate. So if the two options available are ice cream and chocolate, definitely he would rather go for the ice cream over the chocolate. If he discovered that taking chocolate stimulates him to a good sleep, he might go for chocolate because he needs a good sleep thereafter, or leave that choice because he must study thereafter. Now, an example comparison between chocolate and ice cream. In a situation whereby he wants to stimulate himself to having a good sleep, he might then go for the chocolate. Let's assume chocolate allows you to sleep well after taking it. But thereafter, he might still not go for the chocolate if he feels getting his good sleep will affect him in studying later in the day. So that's how it works basically. Now, he will thus go for one of the choices which he believes is the correct one to maximize his satisfaction. Let's not forget, it's all about maximizing satisfaction. Anyone you feel is the best is that which you go for. Not forgetting the fact that some other ones that you didn't go eventually went for is also needful or needed, but you had rather gone for the one which is the best at the situation at the moment. That being said, let's move to the next slide. So we have our self-assessment exercise. Why do you think that individual, corporation, and government make choices? To answer the self-assessment exercise, go to the comment section and do a brief chatting and drop your answer there. I will be looking forward to attend to your answer. Let's move to the next slide. Opportunity costs. Humans naturally weigh the advantages and disadvantages of their options when making decisions. Let me take that again. Humans naturally weigh the advantages and disadvantages of their options when making decisions. What does this mean? For you to make any decision, you have to consider a lot of things. Your decision making process is influenced by weighing the advantage and disadvantages of that particular option. If the advantages supersede the disadvantage, then you might be going for it. But if the disadvantage, which is the loss, supersedes the advantage, then you might have to drop it. Let's not forget, it's all about satisfaction. Opportunity costs anything that must be forfeited in order to acquire something. Let's not forget the keyword. The keyword in defining opportunity cost is something that must be forfeited. You have to let go. You have to let go to acquire something. Let's go back to this situation from earlier presuming he select chocolate candy because it requires the simulation to fall asleep. The ice cream becomes the lost revenue from the purchase of chocolate candy. Just like we said earlier on, let's assume in the case of ice cream and chocolate, which Ade wanted, let's assume he had taken the chocolate over the ice cream. So definitely the chocolate candy, in a situation where we presume he select chocolate candy because it requires the stimulation to fall asleep deeply, then the ice cream become the lost revenue from the purchase. So the lost revenue in the sense that the ice cream became the opportunity cost, meaning he let go of the ice cream. He forfeited the ice cream over the chocolate. Now, the price of the chocolate, which is 20 naira, which is an obvious expenditure, counts as an out-of-pocket spending. Out-of-pocket spending is that the capacity of his purchasing power to getting the required item. Opportunity cost is a hidden expense that is sacrificed in order to have the finest option. What is an opportunity cost again? It is an hidden expense that is sacrificed. Let's not forget, it's all about your satisfaction. You might want both items, but there is one you want the most. So there has to be a sacrifice of getting one and letting go of the other. All these things are actually interwoven. Choices, opportunity cost, trade-off, they're actually interwoven. So let's not forget, it's still all about getting the best satisfaction. Implicit costs are therefore costs associated with passing up the next greatest chance. This cost must be factored into the total opportunity cost. Let's take that again. Implicit costs, now these are costs that come with opportunity costs. Now they are costs associated with passing up the next greatest chance. This cost must be factored into opportunity cost. Now, passing up the next greatest chance, in a sense that both chances are great, but you have to pass up one in order to get another, and this cost is being factored into opportunity cost. With this being said, let's move into the next slide. So we have our self-assessment exercise. Second self-assessment exercise. Now, opportunity cost is an implicit cost and other less obvious costs given up to have the best alternative. Explicate on this statement. Now, let me explain something to you here. Now, we said something about opportunity cost as an implicit cost and other less obvious costs giving up to have the best alternative. Now, explain. Now, from what we have said earlier on, opportunity cost is letting go of something you require. Now, that process of letting go, there is a cost which is implicit. Implicit in the sense that this cost can't be avoided because there are multiple choices you could have taken, but you have to take one in order to favor the other. So one has to let go, then the particular one that you had taken, which is the major one that you feel it will be the best of advantage to you. Now, this process of letting go is where the implicit cost steps in. So you can further buttress this point, and I would love to see your answer in the comment section. With this being said, let's move to the next slide. So we have rationality. In terms of fundamental economics, it is assumed that individuals have sensibly, in order of maximize their own benefit. Let me say that again. In terms of fundamental economics, it is assumed that individuals behave sensibly in order to maximize their own benefits, particularly when those benefits are weighed against the corresponding costs. When those benefits are weighed, especially when they are weighed against the corresponding costs. Now, let me explain that. What is being rational? Oftentimes I hear people say people who study economics in school are very stingy people. Now, I throw this question to us. Are they stingy or they are actually being rational? And what is being rational? Rational, everybody in this world is rational. Because why do I say everybody is rational? We spoke about choice, we spoke about opportunity cost, we spoke about implicit cost. All these three things we've spoken about, they are interwoven. And all these things have effect on how rational we are. When we spoke about opportunity cost, we said something about maximizing satisfaction. We said something about weighing advantage over disadvantage. Now, for every decision you make and every choices you make and decision you take, you must have weighed your chances. You must have scrutinized the advantages and the disadvantages. And this process has great influence on how your decision is being taken, on the decision you take. Now, this process is what we call you are being rational. You have to think, okay, I have 15 naira. I want to go to work. I have 15 naira. This same 15 naira, I can buy juice with it. If a friend should come around and persuade you to get a juice, and you will tell the person, no, I need this 15 naira to go to work. The person can say you are stingy, but you know what you are doing because you know this 15 naira is what will take you to work. That process, you could have gotten the juice and you forgo going to work, but at that moment you are being rational because you think about it. Going to work can produce you more money at the end of the month. But buying juice, you will get the juice, you will consume it, it will nourish your body fine, and And that ends it. So being rational is not just about consuming, it's about thinking on how you can multiply wealth. That's one from me. So we can say naturally human beings think about things that are favorable to them, maximize benefits, maximize profits, particularly when those benefits are weighed against corresponding costs. Let's not forget what I said about costs, about building wealth. Now, decisions, expectations, and other actions can be made rationally or irrationally. The definition of rational, according to Foley 2003, it defined the word rational to mean an act that is consistent and influential to achieving some well-defined end. He went on to describe, okay, let's not go into that yet. Let me explain further on what this definition means. He said, rational, according to Foley 2003, it defined the word rational to mean an act. It's an act that is consistent and influential. Now, to be rational is not a one-time thing. It's a consistent thing, according to Foley. And this consistent act is very influential. And what exactly is he influencing? Achieving some well-defined end, achieving some well-defined goal. Everybody has a goal or two. Everybody has what he or she is going after. And to get this, you have to work in accordance to reality. You have to work in accordance to things that will help you achieve this goal. While in the process of achieving this goal, people will see you as something different. People might see you as you are being selfish, you are being stingy, the likes, but you really pay no attention to that because you feel that your acts, what you are acting upon consistently, is that you will achieve a certain end. I believe that is well understood. He went on to describe irrational behavior. Now, irrational behavior now as appearing to be inherently counterproductive or rational. Now, when you are being rational, there is a result. And the result is about productivity. The result is about showing proofs of productivity. The result is about you showing that, okay, as a rational person, this is why I'm doing this, and this is for the benefit. But as against being rational, irrational then means when you act in such a way that is counterproductive, when you act in such a way that is destructive, and insane, then you can say that is irrational behavior. For example, it makes sense to pile stone together to create a wall if you want to construct one. That is a rational behavior. Yeah. But it is irrational and it makes no sense to pile stone together in one location just to move them to another location, then move them back. Excuse me. That is an irrational behavior. Anything that makes sense in a nutshell, bottom line of it is that anything that makes sense to humans is rational. It makes sense in the sense that it might not really make sense to me, but at least to some extent it makes sense. Then you can refer to that as being rational. But anything that doesn't make sense, that is insane, is irrational. I believe that is well understood. With this being said, along the line, as we are going through this class, if you are lost at the point or you need more explanations to things, please do well to use the comments section and request for a better explanation of a word or a phrase you need me to talk about the more. With this being said, let's move into the next slide. So we have continuation of rationality. The word rationality also denotes a realistic look on life and the capacity to communicate one's action to another, one action to others in an understandable manner. It is not a must that they must understand, but you should be able to communicate your actions, the capacity to communicate your action in an understandable way to others. Comparing costs and benefits forces rational people to consider on the edge where changes in either the benefit or the expenses may affect their choices. As we said earlier on, to be rational, you put a lot of things into consideration. You put the cost, and the cost actually can actually influence what you do. And when changes in either the benefits or the expenses happen, then it might affect your choices. Now, individuals react to insensitive such as price adjustments. Definitely, if you are being rational at saving a particular money to get something, you have a plan, you have a goal, but all of a sudden the price was 15 naira before, and all of a sudden it went up to 17 naira. Definitely, you will definitely react to the price adjustment. And if the price comes down, definitely you will definitely react to the adjustment. So it's now a matter of a positive or a negative adjustment. Now, in general, individuals are more likely to purchase a specific product if it is less expensive. As I said, whether it's a positive or a negative change. Now it says here, product if it's less expensive than alternative whose price influences their choice, which I have explained earlier. We get to respond positively if we had 15 in mind and the price actually drops. It's a positive response. But if the price actually went up, man, you might have to go for an alternative and just let go of what you had in mind before. Now, since there are alternatives to all actions, there is a motivation to switch to another option if an action becomes more expensive. I think that is well explanatory. It's just that. With this being said, let's move into the next slide. We have the third self-assessment exercise. Expand on how changes in cost and benefit usually affect decisions. Please, the answer to this self-assessment, please use the comment section and put down your answers. I look forward to seeing your answers. Self-assessment exercise is very important. It's an exercise that shows that you understand and you are following the class. Please do not hesitate to attempt these exercises. I look forward to seeing you in the comment section and attending to your answers to the exercise. With that being said, let's move to the next slide. So we have conclusion. Each person has different goals. Definitely, as humans, we all have different goals, different aspirations, and different agendas in mind. Each person has different options. An effective distribution of limited resources is required to achieve this goal. Definitely, the resources are always limited, and that is what makes it unique. To fulfill as many desires as feasible, this is crucial. The best way to analyze the cost of a decision is to categorize the option to see which ones can best achieve each goal. Social structure that develop from human behavior may have an impact on a decision's justification. Social structure too has a lot of things to do with your decision in achieving your goal. Social structure in the sense that availability of good road, availability of power supply, availability of facilitation programs, and a lot has a lot of things to do with decision justification. Each of these has an impact on the economic development, of the person, the company, and the government. Another instrument for resolving conflicting goals and option is economic issue, which is also aid in logical decision making. And let me take that again. Another instrument for resolving conflicting goals and options in economic issues, which is also aid in logical decision making. Logical decision making is one way you can help in solving conflicting goals and options of economic issues. Now that's logical decision making. Now in the following lesson we'll discuss that in detail. So let's move to the next slide. So we have summary. It is well established that economics examine how individuals, corporations, and governments make choices regarding the creation of prosperity through the provision of products and services. The choices made regarding the distribution of these products and their consumption have an impact on our daily lives and the national economy. Because of this, it is essential to carefully consider goals and options, the potential cost of passing up the best alternative the logical decision making when studying economics. So we have assignments. Discuss choice, opportunity cost, and rationality in relation to economics. Give an example of a rational decision you have ever made while you are stuck between two or more choices. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for sticking to the end of this tutorial. I believe we've learned a thing or two in the course of this tutorial, and subsequently more tutorials concerning economics 121 will be released. All the assessments, exercise, and the assignments, you can do all fine, and you can pick one or two, but the most important thing is try and attempt at least one. Use the comment section. If you're yet to subscribe to the channel, please use the subscribe button, smash the subscribe button, like the video, and make your comments in the section below. Are there things you'll have us discuss? Are there things you'll have us improve upon? Are there things you'll have us talk about more? Feel free to drop your comments in the comment section below. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next tutorial. Bye.